Yo, so it's been a little while. Haven't done one of these for a few weeks. Have had a few ideas about things I wanted to talk about, but didn't really have the impetus to do it before. But one I was thinking about last night that I would definitely communicate to you, whether I'm around or not, would be to talk about human sexuality, and to talk about acceptance of the inherent differences that we have. Um, so, just to elaborate on that, um, no matter what, I would always be open and accepting of whatever you turned out to be and however that manifested itself. Obviously, there's such a huge spectrum of human sexuality, and I think society's only just starting to really accept that. In the past, it was always so uh, pigeonholed, heterosexual, man, woman, that was it. And there was just this small mindedness that didn't allow for all of the different varieties of sexuality or even lack of sexuality, which I think is important, because when we talk about sexuality, it includes asexuality. Like, there's also pressure, I think, in some ways, or people kind of forget. Some people aren't even sexual, and that's also okay. You don't have to, you know, be sexual. Some people just aren't, and that's totally fine. So yeah, it just doesn't matter. You have to be true to yourself. If you're lucky enough, as you will be, to be born in an open society, um, don't worry about what other people think. Um, in terms of prejudices and you should be this or that. But in the same respect, don't feel pressured into having to be a certain way, because your peer group is, or they think it's cool. Because I think it can go both ways. There's very repressed cultures, and cultural groups, but also in some ways there's the opposite, where you have groups that they try to revolt, and so then they do things that maybe they don't even feel comfortable doing, but it's cool, or it's edgy, it's revolutionary, and these days that can also be, I think, just as damaging. Ultimately you have to be true to yourself. So let's say you're a person that is attracted to someone of the opposite sex, that's fine. Same sex, that's fine. Both, that's fine. None of them, that's fine. Yeah, it's just, don't be pressured by society, and don't be pressured by your peer group. It's hard not to be pressured by both of those groups, but you just have to ultimately try to find the strength within yourself to not be reactive, but to be proactive, and look within yourself and find what works for you, and then be okay with that. You know, I I would embrace you regardless, and I think that's important. I feel so sorry for children that they were a certain way, and then they're being rejected by their families or rejected by their societies. It can be so depressing or even deadly. Um, not even including, obviously, cultures and societies where it literally is deadly, and it's just so repressed. I think one of the biggest dangers in terms of sexuality is repression. Um, And we can see that throughout history, and we can see that in places like the Catholic Church, for example, as an example, not to point that out in particular, but yeah, it's all about this repression and this like self-censorship and dogma. These are all very dangerous things. So yeah, embrace yourself, be true to yourself, take the time to learn about yourself. Don't feel pressured by anyone. As a young person, as an adolescent, it kind of can be forced upon you. Just, if and when you can, take a step back. If you're not comfortable, if you're not ready, it's all totally fine. Ultimately, it's about being at peace with yourself and knowing who you are and what you want to be. Yeah, so I think I covered kind of what I wanted to say about that. If I think of something else, I'll add it, of course. That's it.